Hello, namaste, everyone, and welcome to Light, Laughter, and Lattes. My name is Geri Habstritt, and my co-host Patty Peterson are here today to wish you a happy Wednesday during a retrograde, which is very much in alignment with our topic today. And we want to welcome you all, everyone who's listening via Oneness Talk Radio Facebook, Oneness Talk Radio YouTube, or if you're catching this later at a podcast on Spotify, you can always find us live here on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And we have a chat that is open, so jump on in and put your messages in the chat if you'd like. Say hi. You can ask for readings. You can just join in and say hi so we know you're here. We love that. And we also have a call board as well if you want to call in. And so now we have the numbers right below. And our call-in number is 517-208-1500. And so our topic today is about trusting your intuition. Mm-hmm. And as we are in a retrograde, oftentimes they're a time where our intuition is very active, where the coincidences are very active and the serendipities and things like that seem to be online just a little bit more. So this is a great time to talk about that. And I know Patty works with many clients who are asking about that right now. So we thought we would address that today in our show. Right, Patty?
Absolutely. I put the call out to my clients through my newsletter and said, what is it that you'd like to hear more of? And intuition was one of the top ones, trusting their intuition. And especially during times of stress, upheaval, chaos. And so that's perfect. That we want to be here to serve you and support you and encourage you. And Geri, I'd like to read a quote by Einstein. I like this one, and I've used it. I've taught some intuition classes, and I always start with this. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And that's Albert Einstein. And that is true. And now what's happening, I think we're with so many people waking up more, that more people are wanting to trust what they're getting. And so it's a perfect time to join this chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Einstein had so many great quotes.
Right.
Really.
Right.
I mean, and to have such an active mind and such a scientific mind, but yet being able to bridge over and engage the right creative, intuitive mind as well is quite a feat. I mean, that's the challenge of all of us, right? Is to be open to divine flow, receive those messages, and to be able to put the mind aside so that that information can come through.
Yes, exactly. And that's, so why don't we start with what is intuition? Some people might, right? And I hear some people say my sixth sense, or what are some other words we've heard, what people may use, my gut sense, and so we're more than this physical body. We are an energy, and we have an energy field around us that goes way out. But the main thing, the main part, this 3 feet or so, and it's really through that we're sensing. And yet each one of us discerns that differently, right? Because Geri, what is one of your key ways you get your intuitive knowing?
Yeah, absolutely, through feeling.
Yes, yeah. She is so flippin' sensitive. And that's, she's reading through her energy field, and then you feel it in your physical, correct?
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it's even a challenge to interpret what I'm feeling.
That's
right?
It.
Because sometimes you're around someone and you're like, wait, am I feeling me or am I feeling them? Or am I feeling the space that I'm in, and what is this, right? So
exactly.
It's a little bit more challenging than someone who's like you, which is very visual. You see pictures of things.
I see pictures. And yet So I'm clairvoyant is my key, I guess, but I'm also got clairsentient like Geri, that feeler, the sentient. And some people, you know, we all have a main, so to speak, or maybe main two initially that we start waking up to. And then we develop more of that, you know, all of them as we hone our clear energy field and become more connected to trusting what we're getting and knowing. And then clairaudience, some people just get messages, they hear a boom, it's a download. And it can sound like their voice, or it can sound like another you can get from guides or whatever, right? And then the other main one is a claircognizance, which is download of information. And I wouldn't doubt that everybody out there does get some of that. You know, and one of our mentors just recently mentioned how as he's developed his senses, that he gets gustatory taste. And, you know, I have to say that too, as I was working on clients and doing detox systems, I literally could taste like heavy metals. So now sometimes I see the heavy metals around them, but especially when we're releasing and clearing energy, you know how things detox, and I literally would taste anesthetics on people, you know, so it's just, there's so many different ways. And the key is that each individual person trusts and become more aware of their way.
Absolutely. And smelling too. That's something quite often where I've worked on people and have pulled up old antibiotics and such that they've taken, and I can just smell like, oh my goodness.
Yes, olfactory, right? So it works through any 5 of our senses, and it's amplified, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, the number one step is, you know, become clear. You know, how are you getting? Because I know when I ask students is, think back, was there a time you had an intuitive knowing and you didn't listen? And then later you go, dang, I knew that I should have. You know, so that's usually a common thing. Whether, you know, it's like you're leaving to go to run an errand and all of a sudden you're being guided to take a different route than usual, but you don't listen to that feeling, that knowing, and you take the usual, and then you get stopped up in a big, you know, backed up car accident or something. Exactly, right?
Yeah. And yes, Pauline, we are taking call-in numbers. Ooh, okay. So let me see if I can do this. This is going to be the first time I've done this. And so, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, it works.
Awesome. Who is this? Am I speaking to Pauline?
Yes, you're speaking to Pauline.
Well, awesome. Thank you for helping us try out our call board for the first time.
I think I jumped into the middle of it. So I think it was about intuition they talked about.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the second Claire. I have a thing about clairvoyance. I've been told, because people who actually see, so you may not want to see what I see, because they see certain alien races, and it says they're not too pleasant. There's certain races that he doesn't like looking at, but maybe that's why I don't want to open that yet. Is that a possibility I'm blocking it because I'm afraid I shouldn't open it, or just trust, like Kira and Sri say, and maybe I'll see better things like angels and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, Pauline, there's a couple things that come to mind. Yes, we have fear, and we block those things based on past experiences and fears, so we can block it. But also, I want to remind you that you are a master and you are a creator. So you can call in the light and you can command anything to go away. And so you may see some of those things, but hey, I am light and only light enters here. And boom, that's gone. So
what she was saying, just observe, and then I'll be told this non-judgment, and I won't be touched, right? If I'm in the 9th dimension or 7th dimension or 5th dimension, as long as I'm not judging, I should be safe.
Right. Sometimes we do see the allness and we see different things, and it doesn't mean that we're always sharing what we're seeing. And just like Geri said, it's very important that we clear our energy field often. and command in that only the highest may enter here. And because some of us do, we carry some old generational dogmas and beliefs around that maybe I'm not safe or things like that. And the more we just start recognizing it, we can transcend some of that.
And I think
you have karma, right? Generational karma. You might have taken it on for your family, so maybe that's another reason you'd be afraid to like connect, because then you have to deal with it.
Right. And Patty mentioned something too about you not sharing it. And I just wanted to expand on that a little bit. What she meant by that is oftentimes when people see things maybe around other people, they want to go tell the other person, I saw this angel around you, or that, and that's where we need to learn discernment, that not everything we see is meant to be shared. And as we trust what we're seeing, and we can be, I don't know what the right word I'm looking for, discerning about how we share that, then we'll be shown more, because then we're revealing an act of responsibility.
There
right?
it is. Yes.
And but she didn't mean that if you see something scary, you can't go tell a friend, oh my God, I saw something scary.
Right. I was just
tell somebody unless they're ready to hear it. I don't want to put them in fear.
Right, exactly.
The person my teacher saw, I was like, I don't want to see that.
Right. That's exactly how Geri expanded on what I meant.
Like how you can't, and you really say to the universe, I only want to see the nice things. I don't want to see anything else that might scare me, or I don't understand, or I don't know if I can do that even. I don't think we can, filter out what we like to see and what we don't want to see.
Oh, I don't know. I think you can. If you say only the highest of light can be here now.
Mm-hmm.
So
and perhaps ask yourself, what is this that I'm to learn here?
Oh, pardon me, Pauline?
Is that spiritual law that they have to obey if there's darkness, that you don't want that? You can say that you have to be of the highest, otherwise I do not accept you in my whatever state. Can that be like, is that some kind of a spiritual law that they have to honor?
I don't necessarily know that it's spiritual law. It's just you stepping into your mastery, commanding energy.
Oh,
and so there's
and the more we trust that and have less fears, that our bubble becomes more solid, and you command. And just like we choose who we want to be around in the physical, we do that around us in the unseen.
Exactly.
I thought it very interesting that you work with kids. Last week I heard what you said about how you work with children and you hold the energies for them, and something like that. You really stay in the present moment when you're with the children that you work with, so that the highest only comes through with you and them when you work with them. I mean, as a teacher, that's a very important skill to have. I never thought of that. I heard you say that at one of your shows.
Right. Yeah. I've my son and his little friends were all very, very well. All the young kids are very, very awake. And my son had the gift of very clear seeing. He could see everything that was around in the fourth dimension. Any angels that would show up anytime I would do a ceremony, he could say exactly anyone's energy fields, all the colors. And so he would have friends come over and they would start talking about what each other saw. And like, well, I see that too. Well, I see that too. Well, do you see this and this? So I said, okay, let's create an energy ball and pass it around. So we would create an energy ball and they could see it and pass it around. And as we were playing with it and each adding colors to it, it was getting more dynamic. And so this is just some of the things I've done, with kids. I like to help them remember who they are, because there's so much out in this world that would for sure be challenging for them to remember who they are if they get caught up in it.
I've not seen that many. I mean, even Kira, they don't have anything for the kids, and unless some of the people who are I don't really want to call you disciples, but it's not really disciples, they're individuals. And I've heard certain people that have different foundations for what they want to do, helping the children, orphans, and all that. But are you going to be doing something for the children? Because actually, I was looking for something. Not that my grandchildren, this is like something that I like to encourage. My son used to be able to do these things, but he forgot all that when he became a scientist.
Yeah.
Like you said, they would hang out with their friends and talk about what ghosts they saw, and I didn't know how to help them. I just listened in once, and I was like, wow, they do talk about this. A lot of his friends had parents who died, and they were just talking about, I guess ghosts or something. I just didn't know what to say to them, and
well, you bring up a good point. We all came in with it, and the newer babies, are so much more. They're coming in at a higher level of consciousness, but we all came in with that, and many of us turned it off, so to speak. We had to conform to the family of origin, the religions, the society, the culture, and all of that. And we never know what will come forward for someone to perhaps choose to wake up to that again. For me, it was a bigger traumatic event that woke me up, and that's not unusual.
Right.
So thank you.
And all of that opened happened to me. And so that's the way I came into my awakening, and that was no fun.
Yeah, they're often challenging. They're not easy. Think what it takes to wake someone up from a lifetime of patterning, right? Think about
even with this COVID, people still not waking up. Everybody, a lot of them have been pulling into fear, and even I did that for a while. I get pulled into it. I know it's better, but I did get sucked in and disappear for a while, meaning pull away from everybody and everything, including the group. Just go away.
Right. Well, it's very important we keep our focus, right? Our focused awareness and our complete trust, right?
I should have continued coming, because I know you guys, there are a lot of you that really have it solid, so that would have helped me stay, afloat at least. But oh well, I know now I don't have to go backwards again, so I'm not planning on it. It's just that I did it and back again, so that worked out. Do you really recommend going to TOSA? Because is there a shift of my consciousness when everything shifts, and if I'm really ready to come forth, is that the really best place for me to be on the planet?
You know what? I have been there several times, and I always come back newer, brighter, more awake than I was before. So I have to say an absolute yes. I don't know of a better place to.
If your heart is calling you, yes, like you're saying, right? That's your intuitive, your soul, your essence guiding you if you're feeling that call, right?
Yeah. The internship is not going to live there for a while. I don't think a week or so is going to be enough for me. I'm going to do this, and I will go all the way. I don't know if I have any skills that she needs, just the only thing. So I'm like thinking about it, because as soon as I sell my place, I've really got no place to go. So I'm actually searching now where I would like to plant myself for a while. And also to see if I have to have inoculations. I'm not going to go if I have to. I just have to figure out where I can go where I don't have to be inoculated.
Well, Pauline, I'm going to offer you one thing, and then we're gonna then I'm going to have to go back and check.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. But I just wanted to offer you one thing. If you're clear on what you want to do, so if you decide that you're clear, you want to go somewhere and it's for your highest good, the resources and everything you need will show up magically. Yes. I can't tell you how many times the exact amount of money showed up for me to go on to Bhutan. It was $10,000 that I needed, and it showed up magically. Right. And so once you're clear and you know, your soul will make sure you have what you need.
Exactly. I've heard it. I've seen it. I've experienced it also.
It happened like that too. You're right. It just doesn't happen as often, and I think now it's happening more and more because of the shift in the energy. Wow, it's like
sure.
Right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Much love.
No.
No, thank you. And There we go. Thank you. Yes, we are now taking calls.
Well, it was fun. Thanks, Pauline. We got to try out our call board.
Yes, so. This is new thing for us. And thank you so much for joining and sending you big hugs.
The universe does such a lovely job with all these up levels, you know, and retrogrades are so beautiful at pulling us backwards so we can clean out more of the garbage that we left behind. So it's like a clean sweep forward.
Yes, exactly. To do it without judgment on ourselves, or right, go back and revisit, release, and revitalize. I know rejuvenate. Many of us are all in that now. So here's another question one of my clients brought forward, Geri, is how to discern our mind versus the intuition. So what comes to mind for you there?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I don't know if any of you connecting with us right now saw the Instagram post to advertise this show this morning. So we kind of did a play on that. Where have you ever had the experience, and I'm sure you all have, where you're thinking about something, and all of a sudden the phone rings and it's them, and it might go on with several people, and then you go, wait a minute, was this my mind thinking about them that caused them to call, or was I feeling their energy tinging me, and so I called them, you know, and this can go on with a number of things. Like I can remember back when I was first just kind of waking up and say, you know, let's say I'm talking to you, Patty, about maybe a class. Gee, I'm thinking about going to this class in New Mexico. And what do you think? And then maybe a week later, you're, you know, looking through a magazine and you open up the magazine and there it is, that class. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go. I have to go. This is a sign, right? This is a sign. And I've come to know now, well, not necessarily. We focused our energy and talked about it, so there it came. But it's not necessarily a sign. It's just it's a sign that we created something. Not a sign that we're meant to go to the class.
Then you will get more intuitive guidance, I trust, if that was the case. It's like, how do you feel when you look at that then? Like this excitement or this, sometimes it's just a knowing. I mean, there's times people have felt called to get a certain book. You know, you pick up that book and you get home with it and it doesn't even, you don't even pay attention till another time. And then you open it and it just starts cracking you open and really has a deep connection. It's like that guidance is just there. So trusting, right? But we are constantly creating, and every thought is energy and belief and feeling. And so that's one of the, so going between that mind and our true inner guidance is how you're feeling sometimes, right, Geri? I mean, isn't, you know, the mind tied to the ego and the hurting inner child, and that can often be more of a, there's some judgment there, some comparison, separation, whereas this intuitive knowing is often just a quick ba-boom download, and it's a higher frequency.
Right. Yeah, it's, the mind is maybe more little small fragments of worried thoughts that you're not sure about, right? And an intuitive knowing is often like just this deep, well, I know. I don't know how I know.
Yes. And
you know,
right?
And sometimes the nudge is inspired by something, so there's a joy around it. You know, I can think back years ago before my brother passed away. It was like I was guided to read a book, and I wasn't reading books at the time. And so I read the book, and after the book, I'm like, I'm really being prepared for something. And I gave the book to several people saying, you know, read this. Do you feel like you're being prepared for something? And they read it and like, no, we don't feel like we're being prepared for something. And it was this deep, deep knowing within me. And it was like a month later, then he passed away. But it was this book that helped me come to terms with that.
Yes. Yeah, that's a beautiful example, Geri. You just trusted that and trust how you felt. I had a similar, mine was through a dream, and many people get messages through their dreams in our dream state. And it's not like every dream either is a premonition. There's different types. And so I had a dream that I was going to be alone. And it was more of that. I saw myself being alone. At the time I was married to my late husband. But it was such a deep, when I woke up knowing, wow, this felt too real. And everything in me wanted to keep dismissing it. And it took a long time for, weeks to kind of get that feeling out. But the interesting thing is my daughter on the same night woke up and said, Mom, I dreamed Daddy died. So again, we were being guided in some way to have some preparation for when that event happened, which I believe too was around a month like yours, Geri. And then through, working through that devastating event, being cracked open, more of my intuitive guidance came on board. More downloads and energy healing through the hands, and more messages were easier, connections to our guides and angels. And so always looking for, what am I gaining through some of these challenges? And right now, when we talk about the mind, there's so much in today's world going on, isn't there? Geri and I were talking about, the Instagram and some of this, and how, we have the attention span of a
goldfish. And some of the classes I'm taking right now are saying that people are literally scrolling through their Instagram 150 times a day. And that was pre-COVID. So I can't even imagine. I don't scroll through it even once a day, maybe 3 times a week at the most. And so that's a huge amount of distraction energy.
Yep, there you got it. That mind is distracted. How can I tune into what I'm sensing, feeling, and knowing if we're constantly focused elsewhere?
No. Yeah. If we really want to trust our intuitions, that you've really got to embody yourself, and you have to feel comfortable with yourself. Because if you don't feel comfortable with yourself, you're not going to feel comfortable with the information that's coming in.
Exactly.
You'll reject it, just like thumbing through all the stuff. It'll just be another slide you're flipping through.
Right. And if something big needs to get our attention, we may have several things happen in order to say, oh, maybe there's a pattern here and I need to pay more attention.
Well, and that's when accidents happen, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes. And so that's the way the universe connection, our soul guiding us,
trips us. The universe sticks out their foot and we go for a fall, and then next time we pay attention, we're more present.
I've had that happen.
I was there with you.
More than once. So you bring forward a good point there, comfortable with yourself, Geri, that, deeper and deeper layers of self-acceptance, self-love. So we are present to gain our guidance, connect with our guidance, right? Are there certain ways that you've cultivated that?
Well,
listeners could say, well, because I know another question, along with this was quieting the mind that they were asking.
Right. So. Well, my personal thing for me, and I would say anyone, find your personal thing, whatever that is. So whether it be, what puts you in the zone, right? So is it music? Music puts me in the zone. Live music really puts me in the zone. Or a walk in nature. And I don't know who that doesn't work for. If I can really be nurtured by nature, that's when my intuition is wide open and the inspiration flows in and the ideas come in and really the magic happens. And that's when I really know that this is inspiration and guidance, and it's not my mind.
Yes. That's so perfect. Mine is, Geri will check in sometime. I'll say, I got to get out into my gardens. My hands in the soil, which is the same thing. And, here's a good way to practice your intuition when you're on that nature walk is start just tuning into the trees. Notice how you feel. Notice what you sense. Or, to different rock formations by the water, and just really take time to breathe and be present to that energy there, versus notice your energy when you are scrolling through the Instagram, or perhaps, an example I use sometimes is, sitting in a busy emergency room in a hospital or at a police station. Just close your eyes and notice what you're picking up there. And you start getting much more discerning about, what feels good for me, my guidance, intuition, to help support that.
Or, and another thing in nature too is to send your love to the water, or send your love to the tree, or stand with your back along the tree and breathe with the tree. And you will feel that energy reciprocated back to you. So it's a good way to get used to, getting used to feeling energy, for one thing, and then you get more discerning about, oh, wow, look what I can give and what I can get back. And look what this feels like versus other types of energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. We're powerful. And the more we send our heart energy out, giving and receiving. I even do that every time I see chemtrails. I take and imagine my heart and just sending that, boom, break them up, bring balance, whatever.
I used to do that. Now I just do, oh, look, they painted me a rainbow. All I see is rainbows in the sky.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So any way that you can quiet down your mind and settle to be more present with yourself, any type of, some people tell me that, just sitting and meditating is hard at first. And so perhaps a calm guided meditation. And I know, I have some on YouTube, and many, many, many others do, there's to start there with, shorter time frames, perhaps, and then you can build. And I know it comes to a point where your body craves that sitting and that stillness.
And I know something that really works well too, and there's a couple of different kinds that I've done, but there is the body love meditations. And I've noticed that when the mind freaks out too, it's part of the body as well. The body's freaking the mind out. So if you can go through and touch each part of the body and thank and love the feet and thank and love the legs and go all the way up, this might be a half an hour process, just doing that with music. And there's guided ones that I've found on YouTube. Then I find that I can really, really, really relax the mind and sink in. And then that's when things really flow for me.
That's a beautiful reminder. I think that's a perfect antidote to when we are feeling stressed, because, stress is unique to each person. What causes stress for one, for another. But when you start feeling like really rattled, to sit, to do something like that with that body love, connection, the breath. Your breath is your connection to your true self, your essential self, and all that is, right? And so that's key, tuning into how are we breathing.
Right. So important, especially right now. And as things get more intense and the energy gets more intense, oh my goodness, we forget to breathe. Find ourselves holding our breath.
Yes. So the number one, start paying attention to our breath and taking those deeper, because even just our hand to our heart with the breath and the release of sa, which is, surrender to the infinite. And yet physically, science-based, this activates our calming system, the parasympathetic system, and it connects you to your portal of your heart. And so simple practices like this with the stress, with the feeling, the chaotic, hand to heart, connect with that body. I start feeling, do you guys just get tingles? I started getting tingles just as we were doing that. And pay attention. And the big thing too is not to judge anything. You know, when we're tuning in, be that witness and that observer and just accept.
You know, you reminded me of a video I was teaching actually last week, and the kids had to watch a TED Talks, and I found this TED Talk so fascinating. So the topic was kind of, you know, can you really fake it until you make it? And they studied how the people out there that are really, you know, powerful, strong people that, you know, really have a low stress level, you know, what is their attributes and what are their poses? So, you know, they maybe stand like this and sit like this, you know, and people who are in more of a, I can't do this, a self-defeating energy have closed poses and turning
around. Yep.
Right. And so what they discovered by doing some blood tests is that people they want as leaders have a higher amount of testosterone, but they have a low amount of, is it oxytocin?
That's the cuddle hormone. That's the connection hormone.
They want the one that has, so you have less stress, meaning you can put up with a lot.
Cortisol. Well, less cortisol. Cortisol goes high with stress. But anyway,
it's one of those. I don't remember which one it is. And so I probably should have got my story together, but you can go watch this on the TED Talk. Yeah. So you want to low that and high testosterone, and that makes for a good leader. And they found out the people that really self-defeating were low on testosterone and high on the other. So they said, okay, let's do a study. So let's just take someone who maybe someone who's a really powerful person normally and make them do these self-defeating poses for 2 minutes. Yeah. And just after 2 minutes of doing the self-defeating pose, they tested their levels and their testosterone was down and their stress level was high. And they made them play some kind of a game like Dice of Chance to see if they would take risks, and they wouldn't. They were bad at risk taking. Where they took someone else who was maybe more of a victim type energy and made them stand like this for 2 minutes. And just after standing like that for 2 minutes, their testosterone levels were high, the stress level was low. And they rolled the dice and were able to take more risks. So what they determined from this is, she's like, well, you don't necessarily fake it till you make it. You fake it until you become it.
Yes.
So literally, and I'm thinking, of course, my mind's going, of course, to smile even if you don't feel like it. Because it is telling your body that you are happy and all is well, even if you're not feeling that way. And so maybe you're going through a victim energy or you're not trusting yourself. Well, pretend, you know, stand like someone who trusts himself.
There's a lot said about this Wonder Woman pose. I've heard that, right? To do that before something. Yes. Yeah, I like that. So, and it shows again how everything is energy, right? You know, the position of our body, the intent behind it, you know, and so every movement, it all has energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even all the mantras. Now I'm thinking too, right? You know, hold all the mantras, you know, so you can go a long ways with that if you're just holding, you know. And they were kind of helping students before they went into interview for a job. So, you know,
that makes sense. Right. That makes sense. And I what came to my mind when you're sharing that, Geri, was, you know, in those days when we are low, you know, not only, okay, what are we thinking? Can we smile? But what about gratitude? Is there one thing I can find and say, oh, wow, I am so grateful I have food in my cupboards, and start there. Because there's been studies there too. When we can connect with that, how that will start to lift and bring forward more of those positive chemicals. And it literally, gratitude lifts us out of fear loops. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I can remember being in that stage where I literally I knew gratitude was my way out. And it was like, okay, what's one thing? And I had to look really hard. okay, I guess I still have a body. I'm thankful. I mean, maybe it's just that, but
Yes.
that'll get you to the next step, which will get you to
Right.
the next step, which you'll get in, and you'll, like a staircase, you'll step out of whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Taking any action. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a big grand gesture. That small step can shift energy, and then another will be guided or whatever. And I remember those kind of days too, Jer, where it's like, wow, I'm struggling so much. Can I think of one thing to keep me going?
Mm-hmm.
There always was. There always was.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. Another question that somebody had brought forward then is they'd like a little more guidance in how to connect with their guides. Yeah. So what would you like to share starting there, Jer?
Oh, it's funny. So all you have to do is say that, and I can immediately feel like the portals open and like, oh.
And she gets a room full from what I see.
And so it is.
Okay.
Which reminds me is all you have to do is intend it, and it's already happening. Mm-hmm. So if you don't feel it, it's because you're not trusting it or you're in your way. So as soon as you intend it, the energy is already there. It's already showed up. The guides are there. Boom, just like that. All you have to do is intend. And so now can you trust that? And maybe you can't feel. So at first you just have to trust. And there's the great practice, right? With the hand on the heart and the hand on the solar plexus. Mm-hmm. In this moment, I trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Breathe between the two, in one, out the other. Mm-hmm. In this moment, I trust myself.
In this moment, I trust myself.
And how many of you are feeling some energy move through your throat, truth chakra? I'm feeling that. Beautiful. You want to open up your truth because you do. Your soul self, your infinite self does trust you. It's just some of our old limiting patterns and beliefs that are stopping us. We all, that busy mind is tied to the inner child, and that inner child took on so many beliefs, and a very common one is there's something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. And the more we start recognizing, oh, that's what's operating here, and give her some love, him, they, some love, attention, and then come back to your true self. Mm-hmm. And call that in, breathe that in, connect at that aspect. How each one does that is unique to them too. And Geri, when you were sharing that part, reminded me of, going back to the busy mind this way too, right? To sync these two together. When people's minds are too busy, they're, to put one hand on the forehead, one on the heart, and then do the breath from one into the heart and up out and in through the mind, down, out through the heart. That literally will help to align there too. And settle the interceptor between there, which is our truth. We want the truth of the heart self, not the truth of just what the mind, ego, personality self is saying.
Right. Yeah. It's a balancing of the mind and the heart. So it's a really good thing to remember. There's just so many tools that we can use, right? Just to get the moment when you're not trusting, or you're in the middle of something, or you're stressed, or you're not centered, to remember some of the tools. And it's funny how simple it is, right? My struggle is the mind. I need to listen to my heart, right? So, okay, boom. Now we're going to balance the mind with the heart.
Yes, exactly. And that intent to do it from a sincere heart is so huge. Mm-hmm. And, connecting with those guides, when I have clients in my office and they're wanting to hone that, it takes practice, right, Jer?
Absolutely.
It's a muscle we develop because it's been shut down for a period of time, depending how, And so the practice, and so I'll say, as we calm the mind and do a little breathing together, and I say, tell me, because I see the beautiful beings with them. Mm-hmm. And then I'll just say, tell me, what are you sensing, feeling, seeing, hearing, knowing? Everybody gets something. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. And even a tiny bit. Oh, I got tingles in the back of my heart. That's huge. Yay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's just really a practice, right? Well, we don't go to school and practice these things. And I don't know why not.
Yeah.
My school, in the world of my school, we're going to do that.
That's it.
One of these days. Well, yeah.
That's
So just, I remember a practice that we did when we first started it out, right? Sitting back to back with each other.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And I would think about a gift I was going to send you. And we were going to think about a gift that you were going to send me. And we focus on sending that gift to the other person, sending that gift. And we're our spines are back, spine to spine, back to back. And we're sending this message and we're sending this message. And then it's just a matter of trusting and just writing down, what did I feel? What do I sense? What's the first flash that came to my mind?
That's it. That first flash. Don't overthink it, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We can start the mind then going, I don't know if that's right. Was that? Don't just write it down.
Did I make that up?
Yeah.
I'm so good at that one. Did I make this up?
Then you know for sure it's good.
Yes. Yep. That's your first answer right there. Did I make this up? Nope. Write it down. That's it. You got it.
Agreed. Any sensation, feeling, words you heard, smell, taste, write it down, start trusting it.
Yep.
And another practice I do with my intuition groups is have two people face each other and share an object, like a ring that's always on them. And so the other give their ring to the other person, they hold it, and they write down all the impressions they get. And that's psychometry. So everybody loved that one. They always asked to do it again because they all felt success. So then they could celebrate themselves. Well, wow, I'm getting more than I realized, than I'm giving myself credit for.
Yeah. And that's the important, and like we're going through right now with the medical intuitive training, while we're working with other students, right?
Yes.
To be able to scan someone's energy field. And so it's so important to feel successful, like, oh my gosh, I can feel something, and that encouragement and that excitement builds more trust. And then you can go deeper. I can do this. This is possible.
Yes.
So,
that is key. Keep building on that positive and celebrating you. You're taking the time to do this. Give yourself a lot of credit.
Right. And sometimes you won't be right.
Right.
So there's times where you still got to keep trusting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's so easy to say, I'm not going to trust because I trusted before and I was wrong. No. Keep trusting.
Yeah. Right. And there's a timing thing sometime too. You get some knowings and it might not be the right timing for things. And there's a lot going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think one of the important things, and I guess I touched on it earlier, about the more that you can really be with you, the more you can be with the information that comes through you. That ties back to the trust equals love. And in the world of Archangel Zadkiel, right? Trust and love are the same.
Right.
And so the more that we can be present with ourselves and love ourselves, the more we will trust the information that comes to us.
Exactly. And that's how it worked for me. Is I was when I was just waking up and I was getting downloads and starting to see things, and in my clairvoyance, things can just flash through so fast. So I could dismiss it so easily. And I learned I had to, especially if it was like a reading or a client asking, I didn't share with them what I saw unless they were asking. And I learned that the hard way too, as often we do. We share something that they weren't ready to hear if they weren't asking. But anyway, learning to just share that first flash that can be so quick. And it so often had validity. And, as a clairvoyant, sometimes mine is pictures. What I believe a picture means is very different than what that client is going to interpret. So it's important what you feel, what you get from the symbol, not what somebody else is telling you.
Right. I want to do a quick shout out and say hi to Michaela Jones. She's following us new for the first time from England.
Oh,
and so
Oh,
I just want to say welcome. So glad we're so happy when you send messages in the chat, because it's so nice to know that we're being of service in some way, and that there's a community out there seeking this kind of information and this kind of energy. And so this is Patty and our passion. We've both been at this for 12 years. We're both medical intuitives, and we're both quantum healers and self-ascension intuitive counselors. And we guide people through this stuff. So so thank you so much for joining me.
Please, you are my heart. Thank you, Geri, Pauline, others who are having comments. Kim, thank you. Taking your precious, valuable time and sharing it with us. Yes. So, Geri, nothing else on the call board? Shall we?
I took a peek and we are good.
Okay. People will hopefully start joining us more as we'll be together again next week.
Yes, we will. We're together. Well, we're here, one of us or both of us, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And we have a live chat, and we have a call board that's open. And both Patty and I do medical intuitive readings. Oh, you got your cards of clarity too?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is what we're going to do, Patty. We're going to do a crown chakra spread for the group. Okay. You pick 2 cards and I'll pick 2 cards. Okay.
Okay. Crown chakra is they can all be mixed up, right? Okay. Because I don't have.
Yep. So one goes on the top. It's like a diamond. We're making a diamond. Okay. So you do the top, the gateway, and the left side of the diamond. I'll do the right side and the bottom of the diamond. Okay.
Right. Asking what is the highest good of this moment for who's here listening? What do we need? What do we need to know? What do we? Ooh, feel that?
And this is for everyone who's watching this, no matter when you watch it or when you see it.
This is future. Yes. Yep. Okay, Jer, I've got 1 and 2, gateway and energy seeking. You're doing
okay, and I'm doing what's
the primary issue.
Oh boy. Okay.
The right, 3 and 4.
Yep. Hold on, I'm grabbing my book. Okay. So what do you have in the gateway? You read that first.
Gateway is Archangel Shamuel. That is number 12 for the gateway. Now, isn't that beautiful, Miss Ascended Numerology?
Yeah.
And so the 12 is all about, it starts with, let's take a deep breath. Ooh, feel the energy. Some of you might be heating up. My hands are heating up. The protection you have been asking for has arrived. It is now time to fully embrace the job well done. Allow yourself to receive the protection from fear. For it has only been the energy of fear that has led you to believe you needed outside protection at all. What a glorious gift to be free from fear. The time of peaceful living, calm presence is asking you to embrace it. You are ready for this journey, and it is the signal that the next step has already been taken. Pay attention, be peace, be calm. Pretty perfect.
Yes. Okay. So you got number 2, the message that's seeking integration before we can enter the gateway.
Aha, another archangel. I love how the archangels are with us. And this is a 10, and this is Sophia. Isn't that perfect? Yes. Okay. Unity through the love of a pure heart is calling to you in all aspects of your life. To fully embrace this gift, you must begin with yourself. If you are carrying any judgment about your body, your life, your actions, it's time to honor them with the unifying energy of love. This is not the romantic or false love that is transient. Rather, call forth from within the love that is you and is ever present. Let this recognition be the catalyst for change and growth. Receive that. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And now, Geri's is the primary issue. We are now ready to accept with ease and flow.
Okay. Another archangel, Archangel 6, Duma.
So perfect for tonight.
The silence is calling you. Within its loving arms are all the answers, and it is your time to begin fully claiming this inherent gift that exists within each soul. Through your interaction with silence, the powerful lesson of non-interference will illuminate your life's expression with greater form and presence. Breathe fully every morning and invite silence into every action and every moment. From this space, the truth will unfold with certainty.
Love it. Love it.
So we are ready to release fear. Behind the fear would be the judgment. Once the judgment is dissolved, the fear will be released, right? But this is going to happen with some silence, right? The very bottom, the primary issue we are all ready to resolve is Benevolent One 7, allness.
Yeah.
Allness calls us to let go of limiting belief systems that we have adopted during our time here on this beloved home, planet Earth. What in your life still causes you to judge, condemn, or criticize? Consider each of these actions and then just take one. Write down what it is that you judge and why. Then carefully and intentionally bring to your consciousness the shift that recognizes that each of these expressions is part of the allness. Limits are of this world. You are in your truth without limits, as is everyone and everything. To fully discover the many gifts of this world, there is no right or wrong when you are able to fully be the recognition of the many expressions of allness. Let yourself move from judgment to celebration, that all is expressing exactly as it needs to.
That sounds pretty perfect for everything. And that's another way I love these cards and intuitive knowing and trusting is every time we use them, the messages that come through are perfect.
Right. And actually, these cards are a way that I first began trusting my intuition. Because and it was just a matter of, well, can I trust that this is even the right card? Oh, maybe it was supposed to be this one. Should I grab? I could have grabbed any card. Or is this really the right card? You know, the games you can play with yourself.
Good point. Yes.
And then I just got used to throwing them out there, and they were always right. And then it was like, of course I trust they're always right. You know, and that's just what was like a ladder up to trusting more. Exactly.
Agreed. And so that's a beautiful practice. Thank you, everybody. And our information is with these links. If you really want to connect in any way for short sessions through Wizio or any other information, our emails are there, social media, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And it's been our pleasure to be with you all today. And we both hope you have a fabulous week. Namaste, everyone.
Yes.